is the name of the maid that cleans the upstairs bathroom.
I just think she's crying for sympathy, playing the victim.
She's drunk on her own ego.
Oh my gosh, I worked so hard.
She married for money. It's very clear she bagged the elephant. She was thrilled she became a, quote, princess. I don't like her. That's what everybody says.
I knew her a bit before she met Harry. She was nothing like that. She didn't speak like that. Her mannerisms weren't like that. She's all fake.
And she also is pretending that she's crying. There isn't a tear in sight. It's an actor's trick.
Oh my God, it's crazy. You're like, Megyn, one tear, left eye, go. Give us 3 seconds.
If you haven't noticed, my husband's very, very handsome.
So hot. Look at him. Isn't Prince Harry? I mean, she bagged a fox.
I might watch it in the same way that I turn my head to see a car accident.
Reality is she's a grifter. Fake it till you make it.
She's a malignant narcissist who is a truly terrible person. She is a malignant narcissist who cannot get enough of herself while she simultaneously plays the victim.
Picture the bleached white glare of a hospital birthing suite, a kind of space most parents remember with quiet reverence, now transformed into a stage for the most cringe-inducing spectacle royal fans have ever witnessed. The widely shared footage shows Meghan Markle, visibly in late pregnancy, wiggling her hips in a shaky, labor room twerk, while Prince Harry hovers beside her, blinking like a dazed extra. Veteran firebrand Megyn Kelly wastes no time tearing into the clip, branding it a royal disgrace, and sneering that the Duchess will do anything for validation.
We don't like you. And no amount of posting videos that you think are going to humanize you will make us like you.
Kelly's voice drips with disbelief as she describes Megyn circling her hips like a late-night club act, insisting the Duchess has turned childbirth, a moment many deem sacred, into cheap TikTok fodder. The segment goes viral, and ratings insiders allege Kelly's viewership spikes as stunned audiences replay the belly-shaking dance frame by frame. Commenters zoom in on odd bumps beneath Megyn's dress, muttering that the stomach looks lumpy, almost padded rather than the smooth curve most mothers to be expect.
Like the gross disrespect to the intimacy and privacy of marriage and childbirth.
Trolls and traditionalists unite, firing off a tidal wave of hashtags that label the Duchess shameless, attention-starved, and, as one furious critic puts it, the anti-Diana. Even normally neutral palace courtiers speaking off the record whisper that Windsor media staff were blindsided and deeply embarrassed. Palace veterans add that Meghan's public relations advisors have long warned her to avoid overexposed vulnerability theater, advice that, so far, she has spectacularly ignored.
You know, there are some moments that are supposed to be between a husband and a wife only.
Meanwhile, Kelly doubles down, declaring that Meghan's theatrics cheapen not only her own privacy, but the monarchy's last scraps of mystique. When you broadcast what should be holy, you cheapen the crown for likes, she thunders, and she is not finished. Behind Kensington walls, frantic calls fly, crisis memos circulate, and one very agitated press secretary demands an answer to a thunderclap question. Who in the world thought this was a good idea? But that is only the beginning. So, how did this jaw-dropping clip even see the light of day?
In the moments before you give birth to your child is one of them. When you are together in that room and your child is coming.
According to sources familiar with Meghan's inner circle, it was a late-night decision to drop the footage on her personal feed. Some allege the move was driven by a desperate push to humanize her image and claw back public sympathy. The clip itself is not ambiguous. Megyn is seen, 9 months pregnant, hospital gown hiked, hips swaying in a twerk-like motion, while Prince Harry hovers awkwardly behind her. Megyn Kelly did not mince words in her takedown, calling the video the cringiest, most uncomfortable piece of tape I've seen in a long time.
It is the cringiest, most uncomfortable piece of tape I've seen in a long time.
And she had no patience for those who might claim it was an innocent, sweet moment. In her words, no amount of posting videos that you think are going to humanize you will make us like you.
Here's the problem. We don't like you, Meghan Markle. We don't like you. And no amount of posting videos that you think are going to humanize you will make us like you.
Online, the reaction was instantaneous. Some viewers recoiled in disgust, others fixated on the uncanny bumpy shape of Meghan's belly in the video. Rumors started swirling that this was no ordinary pregnancy, with some alleging there were strange lumps that looked more like a makeshift padding job than a natural baby bump. These are not new theories, of course. For years, the internet has harbored whispers that Megyn used surrogates for one or both of her children. The sudden reappearance of these suspicions, fueled by the odd look of her stomach in the viral clip, has left royal watchers buzzing once again.
But there's one of those conspiracy theories on the internet that she might not have actually carried her babies, one or both, that they may have used a surrogate.
Insiders claim Megyn's team is privately horrified by how quickly the video snowballed into yet another PR firestorm. One source, described as close to Montecito's inner circle, says Megyn is determined to ride out the backlash and sees the clip as proof of her fun, relatable side. But critics like Kelly insist the Duchess's antics are nothing more than an ego trip, adding, "We don't like you, Meghan Markle. We don't like you." And Kelly's final words in that segment carried an unmistakable sting. "You have completely undermined all the amazing gifts that this family has given you as nothing and suggested that they didn't care." But some believe this was Meghan's most calculated move yet, one that's still sending shockwaves through the halls of royalty and the boardrooms of Hollywood. Megyn Kelly's voice dripped with righteous fury as she laid into Meghan's hospital twerk, branding it not just a personal embarrassment but a slap in the face to the entire institution of childbirth. She seethed. "There are some moments that are supposed to be between a husband and a wife only, and the moments before you give birth to your child is one of them." Her words cut through the noise, and insiders allege they resonated with royal traditionalists who have long seen Meghan's approach to fame as a threat to the monarchy's more dignified image.
But maybe you do have a fun moment, but it's private. Actually, holy.
Kelly insisted this display was not a harmless bit of fun, but a deliberate, attention-starved grab for sympathy, one that she claimed disrespected the sanctity of the moment, child, and truly to like the sanctity of what goes on for any humans who are actually in that situation. Meanwhile, sources close to Meghan's media team have reportedly been left scrambling to contain the fallout. According to those familiar with the matter, there were frantic discussions in Montecito the morning after the clip dropped, with staffers, warning that Meghan's obsession with controlling her narrative might finally have crossed a line even her most loyal supporters cannot stomach. One well-placed insider hinted that this latest stunt might mark a turning point, saying, "She's gotten away with a lot of bizarre stunts in the past, but even her own PR strategists think this was a bridge too far." Still, Meghan herself seems unfazed if those closest to her are to be believed. One rumored source claims she brushed off concerns about the video, calling it a beautiful moment that showed her raw, authentic self. But Kelly was having none of it, scoffing, "She's drunk on her own ego. She's obsessed with her own face on television."
She's drunk on her own ego.
And she drove her final dagger home with a parting shot that echoed in the minds of viewers. "Spare us the attempt." Okay, it's a waste of everybody's time. Yet even Kelly's withering condemnation may pale in comparison to the brewing online fury that shows no signs of quieting down. The internet nearly combusted within hours of the video's release, with social media threads lighting up faster than a palace scandal on a Sunday morning. Users slammed Meghan for what they dubbed a royal humiliation stunt, calling it everything from attention-hungry nonsense to the final straw. Even those who once gave her the benefit of the doubt seemed to snap, flooding hashtags. Phrases like hashtag royal disgrace and hashtag Meghan madness. One well-known commentator in the royal watching community didn't mince words, alleging that Meghan has turned the birth of her child into a TikTok audition. But here's the twist that's causing even more of a stir. According to whispers from within her circle, Meghan allegedly sees this controversy not as a setback, but as the perfect spark to reignite her brand. A Montecito source claims Meghan's team is already spinning this shock and awe moment as proof of her fun-loving persona, a narrative insiders say she's been desperate to push ever since the days of her Oprah confessional.
It is just as intimate and none of our effing business.
Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly's scathing takedown has become the rallying cry for those who see Meghan as nothing more than a fame-obsessed performer. Her declaration, "We don't like you, Meghan Markle. We don't like you," has become an unofficial slogan, repeated in comment threads and, rumor has it, even printed on cheeky t-shirts that have started to pop up online. Palace aides, speaking in careful whispers, are reportedly mortified. One senior figure allegedly confessed that this entire fiasco has become a source of deep embarrassment, with many in the royal household fuming that Meghan's antics keep overshadowing the family's more dignified efforts.
But she needs us to love her, so she will do whatever it takes, and she doesn't know how to make us love her.
Yet for all the disgust, there's a smaller, more cynical faction that believes Meghan's hospital twerk was exactly what she intended. One well-placed observer said, "She's no fool. She knows outrage is currency in this age, and she's determined to cash in." But even if that's true, it doesn't mean the palace is ready to play along, because the stakes have never been higher. Royal watchers barely had time to process the twerking clip before they were connecting the dots to Meghan's greatest hits of ill-fated PR stunts. Remember the Uvalde school tragedy, when Meghan showed up for a photo op? Critics alleged she turned the solemnity of grieving children into a personal stage, an accusation she has never truly lived down. And then there was her carefully orchestrated sit-down with Oprah, an interview some insiders claim was less a confessional and more a performance of victimhood that overshadowed the more pressing concerns of the monarchy at the time.
The royal family gave her a platform and she turned it into a circus tent. If Meghan wants to clean up her act, she's got some serious work to do, and not the kind with jam jars and mood boards.
Those same palace insiders are now whispering that this labor room twerk video is part of a bigger pattern, one where Meghan's instinct is to film, pose, and post every intimate moment in search of a sympathetic headline. A well-placed source says even her closest staff in Montecito have grown wary, warning her that constantly turning personal milestones into public fodder will only deepen the resentment she already faces. And if there's one thing this latest fiasco proves, it's that those warnings are growing louder. Megyn Kelly herself zeroed in on the core issue, sneering that no amount of humanizing videos would ever erase Meghan's true colors. And for many, the video's uncomfortable vibes only reinforce the idea that Meghan sees life as a performance, one that must be staged and curated no matter how private the setting. One former palace aide, speaking off the record, alleged that early in Meghan's royal life, senior staff warned her that constant PR stunts would ultimately backfire spectacularly, destroying any genuine goodwill she might have cultivated. But if those warnings were heeded at all, the hospital twerk is clear evidence that Meghan's ego and her relentless need for the spotlight has overridden them completely.
Want respect? Try shutting up. A little mystery never hurt nobody, unless you're allergic to not being the center of attention.
As the video continues to rack up millions of views and the palace reels from the fallout, the speculation only grows. And for those still shaking their heads, there's a chilling whisper that's starting to sound like a prophecy. This was not the last PR bomb Meghan will drop, and the palace is bracing for impact, as if the video itself weren't enough of a shock. The way Meghan's belly looked in that clip reignited some of the most persistent rumors about her pregnancies. In hushed corners of the internet, conspiracies about surrogacy have been swirling for years, but the hospital twerk video gave them fresh fuel. Eagle-eyed viewers couldn't help but point out how the belly seemed oddly lumpy, with ridges that didn't align with the smooth curve most expect from a 9-month baby bump. It was enough for even the most casual skeptics to start asking, what exactly were we looking at? Some online commentators compared the belly to a pillowcase full of socks, alleging that it looked more like a prop than a real pregnancy. These claims, of course, remain firmly in the realm of speculation, but the video gave them a renewed spotlight. Even Megyn Kelly, who didn't address these rumors directly, couldn't resist remarking, "It looks all bumpy. Very strange. It looks like what you'd get if you put like a pillowcase full of socks or something under your dress."
That belly looks very abnormal. That it looks very strange. If you look up close in the video, it looks like there's like a bag or like some sort of something shoved up under a dress. It does not look like pregnant belly. It looks all bumpy.
Her words sparked a flurry of threads and theories, with some speculating that Meghan was either wearing some sort of padding or had staged the moment entirely for attention. Sources close to the Sussexes have always denied any use of surrogates, but the palace has never formally addressed these rumors. That silence only adds to the intrigue. Why not shut down the speculation once and for all if it's so far-fetched? It's a question that has kept the rumor mill churning in Montecito and beyond. And for those convinced there's more to the story, the hospital twerk clip is being seen as the final puzzle piece that confirmed their suspicions. Still, others caution that the strange appearance could have been nothing more than a trick of the camera, an unflattering angle, bad dress choice. But for those who have long questioned the official narrative, it feels like the mask has slipped. The only thing they can agree on is that the clip was a jarring, head-scratching spectacle. And as the whispers of surrogacy swirl louder, the question of what's real and what's staged is only growing more urgent. If Meghan was determined to play the star of her own stage, Prince Harry's role in this viral saga has been murkier. Observers couldn't help but notice how uncomfortable he looked in the video, hovering at Meghan's side like an extra who had stumbled onto the wrong set. His forced smile and the tight lines around his eyes have fueled a fresh wave of gossip.
Oh God, we have to look at that again, Dan.
I can't take my eyes off it.
Sword.
I think she's embarrassed.
You notice she's loving the limelight. She's loving the camera on her. He's really not. I think he's embarrassed by the whole thing.
Insiders allege it was the look of a man deeply embarrassed by the circus swirling around him. Whispers from those close to the couple suggest Harry wasn't entirely on board with the idea of sharing such an intimate moment in the first place. One source claimed he was visibly uneasy, and that behind the scenes, there were quiet arguments about how far they should go to court public attention. According to another palace insider, Harry's discomfort in the video was no accident. It's become a visual symbol of a growing divide between him and the people managing their brand in Montecito. Of course, Harry has never publicly spoken about the rumors of tension or his alleged misgivings, but palace sources have long hinted that he's been caught in the crossfire between wanting to support Meghan's ambitions and the crushing reality that each viral moment seems to push them further from the respect they once held. The hospital twerk video, with its unsettling intimacy, has reportedly left Harry's advisors fuming and worried that the damage to his credibility might be too great to repair. One well-placed observer summed it up in no uncertain terms. Harry looks like a man who knows he's trapped. He's loyal to Meghan, but it's killing him to see the family brand and his own reputation dragged into these controversies again and again. And the tensions are said to go even deeper than his marriage.
This is why Meghan never fit in. Royal women don't need to dance for attention. They command it quietly, elegantly. Meanwhile, Meghan's out here like Honey Boo Boo with a ring light and zero shame.
Some royal insiders claim Harry's relationship with his brother, Prince William, has grown colder than ever, with William allegedly calling the whole fiasco an embarrassment to the monarchy. For Harry, the stakes have never been higher. In the video, he may be smiling, but according to those watching closely, it's the brittle smile of a man who sees the cracks forming around him and is powerless to stop them. As the backlash reached a fever pitch, whispers began swirling about frantic calls to crisis management experts. According to sources close to Montecito, Meghan's team has been holding emergency meetings to figure out how to reframe the narrative, or at least stop the bleeding before sponsors start pulling out for good. One insider claimed that Meghan's inner circle has dubbed this effort Project Reset, a top-secret plan to pivot the conversation away from the viral twerk fiasco and back to more controlled messaging. The rumored plan, insiders allege, involves a carefully staged apology tour, though Meghan herself is said to be hesitant about going down that road. She reportedly believes the video was an innocent peek at a joyful moment, and she allegedly sees no need to say sorry for sharing what she claims was a personal milestone. Still, some of her closest advisors are reportedly begging her to reconsider, fearing that if she doesn't take action soon, the brand she's worked so hard to build could suffer permanent damage.
Every chance she gets, she tells us the story about when she was 11 years old in the dish soap. From Oprah to Netflix to Spotify to glossy exclusives, she's been on the global grievance tour for how many years now? 5?
One well-placed source said the crisis team is already mapping out potential interviews, strictly curated, of course, with trusted journalists only, to let Meghan control the narrative and paint herself as misunderstood, rather than shameless. The idea, they say, is to spin the backlash as a manufactured controversy, one that was never about Meghan's choices, but about how the world is always ready to tear her down. Meanwhile, palace insiders allege that even across the Atlantic, the fallout has not gone unnoticed. There's talk that senior royals have been briefed on the situation, with one source claiming that the Queen's closest aides view this as yet another stain on the monarchy's image. For Meghan's team, pressure is reportedly immense. They know this is about more than one viral video. It's about whether she can ever regain control of a narrative that now seems to have a life of its own. As the crisis team scrambles and Meghan's next moves remain shrouded in secrecy, one question looms large. Can this rebrand rescue the Duchess from the mess she made, or is the damage already done? As the dust settles around Meghan's hospital twerk video, one thing is crystal clear. The footage has shaken both Hollywood and the monarchy in ways she likely never imagined. While Meghan herself remains tight-lipped publicly, sources claim she's determined to frame the clip as nothing more than a sweet, private moment, one she says was meant to showcase her playful side. Yet even her most devoted supporters are reportedly starting to question whether this was a step too far, a miscalculation in a long line of calculated PR stunts that never quite land the way she intends.
What it feels like to me is she's in a PR firm meeting and someone says, we need to humanize you. Go through your phone, find some fun moments of you and Harry, and we'll post them and everyone will like you again.
Megyn Kelly's scathing condemnation. She's drunk on her own ego. You're obsessed with your own face on television continues to echo across the internet. And it's not just Kelly's words that sting. Allegedly, palace aides have been holding quiet, closed-door conversations about how to manage the renewed scrutiny. One well-placed source claims the mood in those halls is grim, with senior advisors worried that every fresh stunt Megyn unleashes will chip away at what little trust remains in her carefully crafted narrative. Meanwhile, in Montecito, crisis consultants are said to be mapping out a maze of talking points, testing the waters to see if an apology or a grand explanation might quell the fury. But insiders close to the couple insist that Megyn is nothing if not defiant. She sees the video as harmless fun, not the royal disgrace Kelly and her fans have branded it. It's this rumored defiance that has even her supporters on edge, whispering that perhaps Megyn's own hubris is what keeps derailing every carefully laid plan. So here we are. A video that was supposed to humanize Megyn has instead become her most controversial move yet, setting off shockwaves in Buckingham Palace, luxury boardrooms, and the court of public opinion. And as this saga continues to unfold, we're all left to wonder, will Megyn double down, delete the clip in shame, or finally break her silence and confront Megyn